And they always ask me that, what are you thinking about? And I feel that, okay, I was completely in my own zone.
Lift up your energy.
Absolutely, Gopika. I could so relate to this, because for everybody, that motivation comes in a different way. But every time I did something, every time I faced a challenge, that brought a little shift in my mindset, and that made me bring that confidence within me. Every day in the morning when I used to get up, I start affirming that, Manika, you can do it. There is nothing that you cannot do.
All right, so welcome to this very important and a very interesting session where I'm going to be interacting with Manika Goel, who's present here with us and who's a memory coach into the space and doing this for more than 6 years and counseling parents and taking up a lot of memory sessions thereby as well. In the past, she comes from a background where she's done her MBA and she's also completed a BCA. Today, she's a mother of two children, really complementing the fact that how she can really balance work, life, and really be able to keep things at par for herself. Let's get some really words of wisdom from Manika Goel here. So Manika, over to you. Welcome to today's very important interaction while we're celebrating in 2024 this entire month for Women's Day. So we'd like to really get started first of all to really understand that why do you do what you do? Today you are a memory coach, but in your background, your qualification speaks about something very different, right? So why do you do what you do?
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much, Gopika, for having me here. It's really a privilege and my honor to be here, to be sharing this space with you. Every time when I'm with you, it's like I feel so great. So thank you so much. All right. So the question here is that, why is it that what I do is what I why do I do what I do? So see, I come from a background where I have been brought up, in a family where children were not being given that freedom to select their own choices, to actually come across various areas where they can explore the opportunities and they can go ahead and take their own decision. Right. So growing up, this had been my thing, because my parents told me that this is the area, the computers is something which is actually going very good that time, so you should go for a bachelor's in computer. So I did that. Then we had, okay, then MBA was trending, right? So it was always the trending part that used to be in our time. So okay, I did my MBA. But following that, over time I realized that this was not something which I was meant to be, right? I had a different passion. I was always very passionate about doing something of my own, but never got that opportunity, right? So when I started exploring about myself, what are the options that I can actually look out for, and being in corporate for more than 4 to 5 years, I was not at all satisfied. And then through a wonderful scientific tool called DMIT, which is Dermatographics Multiple Intelligence Test, I came across this science, and which told me about my inner strength, which identified my strength, my potential that I was born with, the career option that I can actually go for. And when I analyzed and got my counseling done, I came to know that yes, this was something which was missing from my life.
Yeah.
And that was a moment, without giving a second thought, I started working on it. I started working on myself, got enrolled in various courses, done a lot of investment on myself in learning various things. And with that I came across different thing. Okay, this is, I tried various things, but there was a time when I found that when I became a mother, I started teaching my child, and then I realized that something is missing. We have been trained and we have been doing that kind of a traditional teaching and making a child learn in a certain way, which is called the rote memorization, and which was not working at all, because the children are not able to memorize for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
Forget what they memorize. They learn for 1 or 2 days, then after second or third day, they will forget. So that made me think about more that what else can I do where I can help children. because I was very passionate about working with the children from the very beginning. And I started, just exploring about the various courses. And through that, I came, I am very grateful to my coach, Amrut Jadhav. I am very grateful for him. So he taught me various techniques as to how we can improve our memory. And that gave me confidence that yes, I can also become a memory coach. This is the time when I can also, when I'm learning for myself, I can actually teach others as well, and give the opportunity to other students across the globe, wherein I can help them, because I've been in the counseling and training industry previously. I have faced various parents where they come to me and they ask me about the challenges, they tell me about the challenges they are facing in the academics of the children. And that made me think that this is the actually the right thing what I'm doing right now, and this is where I'm able to transform the life of these students, and that gives me immense pleasure.
Lovely. So good to hear that, you learned the techniques, which because that became something which was more of your passion. It was coming out of interest of being able to help children. And then you actually ventured into learning that skill set because it wasn't something that you would have known as a part of your education. And you got yourself into learning. And, I have fortunately been, interacting with Amrut Jadhav a lot for, another memory based course thereby as well. And, he really speaks about a lot of interesting techniques. But one thing that I've been able to realize is that one is not really wanting to learn something as new as, how do you memorize, unless
Hmm.
you really have that keen interest. And, I want you to share this with our audience today and tell them that, how long back was this that you realized that you want to learn that how to memorize? Was it about like 2 decades back, 3 decades back when you were a student? When were you able to realize this?
It was back in 2020, I guess. No, no, it was back in 2019. So when I, realized after my son, my son was 4 years old, and I was teaching him basic things about, and he wasn't able to memorize few things. That
Lovely.
was a moment which actually gave me that, the moment, and where I realized that something needs to be changed in terms of making the child understand how to learn.
That
It's
was
not about
exactly my
always
point.
going, yes, it's
Yeah.
not
So
about always going for the rote memorization.
So, just about 5 years back, you've been able to touch base your life with something that you're being able to truly enjoy. Why don't you just go ahead and, this completely your stage today. And I want you to share with people who feel that, is it really late to find out what you truly love and what you're enjoying in your life? Is it like too late, too early? Just a message for those people here.
So I would say, Gopika, it's never too late,
Mm,
definitely, to learn something. For me, if you ask me, growing up, my journey had never been a straight line. It was mixed with a lot of twists and turns, and there were moments of self doubt, and there were moments of victory also. When I achieved something. Now, but every time I did something, every time I faced a challenge, that brought a little shift in my mindset, and
mm.
that made me bring that confidence within me. Because now, when I realize, when I look back in the last 5 years, I feel that if it wasn't about those challenges, I wouldn't have been here right now.
So true.
Yes. So it's all about, bringing a small shift in the mindset, and when you start to realize that you have the power,
Mm.
you have the entire, confidence within you, and you bring in that confidence by affirming certain things, right? When you start affirming and bringing a little shift in your mindset, things starts to change. So it's never too late to learn, only to realize, you just need to realize that what is your passion? What is it that you really want from your life? So that understanding of the why is really important. And why is it that you want to do? Even if you want to learn something, why is it?
Mm.
And then when you know your why, you can start to take your actions accordingly. You can start to think in that direction and start to see that yes, whatever you are doing, is it actually meeting that end goal that you have in your mind? And then definitely you can start to work accordingly.
So, very good, very nice to hear, Manika, about the fact that, you need to start believing in yourself. But, I want you to really go back, and because it's easier said than done, right? And all of us really realize that today when we say that, pick up yourself and, see the potential within, you have it in you and it's never too late. But then there is, and you mentioned that you had those, periods where there was a lot of self-doubt. Then
Yes,
how do you
yes.
pick yourself up? What is it that you tell yourself that allows you to get you back to the momentum that you actually want to create for your life? How do you do it, Manika?
Yeah. So I still remember there were time when having those self doubt within me really it shook me up, and there were moments when I just stopped doing anything. It was a time when I realized that no, it's not working out, or
Mm.
maybe I'm not good enough. There were a lot of competition around, because the moment when I start my memory coaching, there were already a lot of memory coaches around in the industry, and they were doing pretty good, right? So there was time when I felt no, I might not be able to stand in this kind of a competition. But yes, I don't know, I simply worked on myself. I start affirming myself every day in the morning. When I used to get up, I start affirming that, Manika, you can do it. There is nothing that you cannot do, right? Everything, you just need to take one step at a time. That's what it is required. Not seeing the entire big goal in front of you, but if you are able to bring one small shift in yourself, right? And I remember, Gopika, you always used to say that, if you're able to bring, if you're becoming one better version of yourself,
Yeah,
right? So that's the only thing which is required.
yeah.
So
So
for everyone out there, I would just have one thing to say, that rather than going and looking at what exactly you have in front of you after 10 years, or what you are aiming for next after 1 year or 2 years, just see what you have to do next day,
hmm.
right? That start taking that action. So one small shift, one small action, and seeing that you are bringing one change within you, you're getting better in your version what you were yesterday. If that you are able to do, you can achieve everything.
So nice and so beautiful, becoming one better version of yourself every day. Because if you were to really look at the destination, it just seems so, full of a lot of hurdles, and, you're just wondering that how will you ever be able to reach there. So that's something that really reminds me at this moment that whenever, I continue to, get demotivated, because we all have our days where we are feeling, our share of ups and downs. And that's I've actually realized that that's my dose of, keeping myself up, is where I go for a walk. And, so recently I've just been able to realize it's more like a strategy for me. So if you're feeling down, get yourself into a momentum. And that momentum for me has become the physical energy momentum, which means you walk. And when you're walking, you automatically realize that you become closer to the aspects that bring a lot of optimism and positivity. And you're looking at trees and you're looking at flowers. And today, my kids also tell me that, what's wrong with you, that, whenever you're going out, you're not coming back, less than about, 60 minutes to 90 minutes, because that's where you're able to really, uplift yourself and realize that there is a bigger spans. This day will pass off. You'll be able to still overtake, a lot of, I would say, the struggles that you're going through, and be able to rise over them as well. And that really lifts me up. So is there something similar that you do as well for yourself, Manika, to lift up your energy?
Absolutely, Gopika. I could so relate to this, because for everybody, that motivation comes in a different way. So
Hmm.
for me as well, because the entire day goes in work with kids and with family, with all those scores, and the morning time I think is the best time for me as well. I always tell my students the same thing, that for me it is morning around 5 to 6 am is a time when I go for walk, and that is a moment when I start to introspect myself,
Mm-hmm.
because that is my me time. That is a time when I realize, what have I done yesterday, what is it that I have to do today, and I make all those journaling in my mind, is in when I'm in my work, because that's only my time. And the best part, is what, when I go for a walk, I meet a lot of my friends there, and most of them they start to greet me good morning, and I'm just in my own world.
Mm.
And they always ask me that, what are you thinking about? And I feel that, okay, I was completely in my own zone, because that's a space where I feel I only need to think about myself,
Lovely.
and that lifts me up for the entire day.
Lovely. So, how have you now been able to see yourself, Manika, in your journey that, over the last 5 years that you started yourself and you found yourself closer to the passion that you're following today? How do you see yourself now establishing your authority over the last 5 years? And, are there, some important blueprint steps that you're following and you'd like to share that with us?
See, what exactly I would say is, I have been able to establish an authority in terms of getting more connections with the parents that I have been in touch with, and making a community of my own where I have around 200 plus parents and students along with them, and they're able to connect with me better now. They're able to relate to what I, share my content in a better way. So
Hmm.
that's where I'm able to establish my authority, because last 3 4 years, if I say, previous to 3 4 years, I was not very much prepared of what I'm sharing
Hmm.
with my audience. But yes, with the experience, with the learning that I am having continuously, so I'm able to connect with my audience better, right? So
Lovely.
that's how I'm creating my authority.
So creating that one-to-one human connection, right? But while you're struggling with keeping it up with one-to-one human connections, now building up as big a community of 200 plus parents as a community, and it's not easy to handle, I would say, even one, then how do you maintain, your work-life balance and still, focus on, scaling up your authority in your space? I mean, how do you manage this?
So it just happens, Gopika. I don't know, that strength automatically comes when you start to work, love what you actually do, right? When that is there, everything is being managed. And yes, what I would say is, planning for everything is really important. When you start to plan accordingly, that how you have to maintain a balance between definitely your work and definitely your personal life as well. When
Mm-hmm.
you start to manage everything, things starts to happen. So there is nothing specific that I'm doing right now. It's just about, I'm strategizing things in a better way, I'm planning my day out in a better way. That's how I'm able to do that.
So I want you to share a message, Manika, with everybody, and especially people who feel that, they lack somewhere the potential and they're losing out their vigor and energy, and you who constantly self-doubt themselves, a message from you for them.
So the message for everyone out there who is watching, will be watching this video, would be that, just be yourself. Just especially for the women out there, because it's we are talking about the women empowerment today. So I would tell them that, be as you are, you're already enough, right? Embrace your uniqueness, right? And just start to take action. Never be afraid of dreaming big in your life,
Mm.
right? When you start to dream big, and then you can start taking actions accordingly. And when you have that planning in your mind, you can jot down, you can strategize everything, and then you can work towards your actions as well.
Lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Manika, with us. And I'm sure that you'll be able to hear back from many of our community members on that as well. So, wishing you a very happy Women's Day 2024 and this entire month as well. And to everybody watching this right now, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gopika. Thank you.